Thank you for joining me for day 14 of 31 days of BPD. I'm going to be talking about the negative effects of BPD. I will be talking about the positive effects in another video, but I wanted to say that living with BPD is very hard for many reasons. I mean, it has a severe impact on your life. If you go back to the 9 signs and symptoms of BPD, you know, it has an effect on your relationships, your impulsivity, your emotions are, you know, off the charts. You can go through a whole range of emotions in one day. I mean, for example, yesterday, I was helping my mum with the childcare, babysitting my nieces, two of my lovely nieces, who are 4 and 2. And in the morning I was like, I can't do it, I'm rubbish, and I was beating myself up. And then went out and actually had a lovely time with the girls. But literally in that day, I felt anger, guilt, happiness, elation, frustration, hyper, manic, low. I mean, you can go through such a wealth of emotions in one day, and it can be exhausting. It can make you not really be able to do, you know, maintain a job. There are people I know that have BPD that manage full-time work, and I'm in awe of you. But yeah, so let's talk about the financial costs. We talked about the illness a lot, and I want to say that, right, okay, so there are financial costs to this illness. I got into a huge amount of debt from spending and from my impulsivity, and I also, you know, going back to the sort of unstable relationships, you know, when I was with Ricky, I let him he just kind of would take my money, use my credit card, and I just would be kind of so scared to, you know, start an argument with him that it would just happen. So I mean, I ended up getting into about £22,000 worth of debt. Some of that belonged to Ricky and I paid that off, but some of it was mine. You know, I'm going to hold my hands up to that. And you know, my parents would always say, oh, you know, you're rubbish with money, and I always have been rubbish with money, but I was never really taught how to do the things with money, so I've taught myself really. But yeah, financial costs are a huge thing, and it can be really, really draining for people around you, because, you know, if you're running out of money and asking to borrow money, things like that, it just gets really, really bad. There are also health costs. Now this can be, you know, because you're maybe self-harming, so you might be going into A&E with self-harming injuries. It may be that you're suicidal, so you have recurrent trips to the A&E again for suicide attempts, or even, you know, cries for help. So that's really challenging. Again, that has a real impact on your family, which is, so, you know, your health. I mean, also, you know, you're taking meds. You know, I take antipsychotic medication and antidepressants. I don't take anything for anxiety, but my antipsychotics have elements of anti-anxiety properties. But so yeah, so you're taking a lot of meds which aren't really that good for you over long periods of time. You may even be on, like, you know, severe, like, strong painkillers and things like that, because BPD people tend to maybe develop things like fibromyalgia and things like that. So there's health costs. Family and friends. Well, like I say, I've said this in other videos, but I've lost many friends to this illness. I'd love to have you guys back if you're around, if you're watching this. Yeah, lost a lot of friends and hurt my family. You know, my last suicide attempt, had a real impact on my family, and it was just after my brother's wedding, nearly 2 years ago now, and yeah, it was a really, really sad thing, because he just had this lovely day. My brother just got married, and like literally 4 days later I was in hospital having a suicide attempt. So yeah, it's that has a real impact on them, you know. And when I found out about the illness, I did my best to try and tell them about it, to give them ways to help me. And yeah, like I say, it's I love my family, but I've put them through hell over the years, and with my mood as well, not just in hospital and things like that, but I was sending my sister really horrible messages the other day because I thought she'd said something and and it was my BPD brain getting triggered, and then I was kind of thinking, well, she doesn't care about me, blah blah blah, and then and then I send her messages that are like, you don't love me, and things like that. It's that typical thing. It's like, I love you, I hate you, but don't leave me. And I just want to say a huge thank you to all my family and my friends for their support and for sticking by me. Career. Yeah, well, I am no longer in full-time work. I used to work in PR, comms, marketing. I worked in the charity sector for a bit, and then moved into the private sector, which was just awful. Ended up working for an oil and gas company, which is totally against my beliefs, but anyway, I'm going off another tangent. But yeah, my career, I mean, I've had to stop my career. I mean, if I hadn't had BPD, I could have got quite far in my career. It would have made me able to cope with criticism, cope with difficult people, because especially in the private sector, well, to be honest, even in the charity sector, there's this difficult, challenging people that most people find easy to deal with. But if you have BPD, you're going to be really easily swayed by what people do and what people say. And if someone says something nasty, they're going to go onto that naughty list. And again, this is similar to family and friends, but yeah, the relationships that you have with people, they can be very up and down, very unstable. I mean, I'm very lucky that I'm with someone now who is very loving and supportive, but I put him through hell, not purposefully, but whenever I'm angry, whenever I lash out, whenever I'm having an episode, whenever my emotional level goes too high, he has to be there to help me. And yeah, it's had a real impact on him as well. So BPD has a serious impact on your life, and if you've learned to manage your illness and can cope with full-time work, well done, seriously well done. If you are coping with your illness but only manage to do, it's a lot. If you manage to do, part-time work, that's fantastic as well. So there are a lot of effects that BPD has. So financial, health, family and friends, career and relationships. I've taken this information from Borderline Personalities for Dummies. So maybe you've had some of these. Have you had to quit your career? Have you had to stop your career or put your career on hold? Have you struggled with relationships? Have you put your family and friends through hell? Have they put you through hell? Did you get into debt? Was spending one of your issues, or did you go towards drugs? I mean, that's another thing with the health cost. A lot of people go towards drugs and alcohol, so I forgot to say that. So yeah, I hope that's been interesting today. Please comment on anything you want to about this. So where you've been affected by BPD, what are the negative effects that it has, because there are positive ones, and I will be talking about those towards the end of this 31 days. But I wanted to make it quite clear that this illness can be very, very hard on the person who's suffering from it and those around them. Thank you for watching. This has been day 14 of the 31 days of BPD. I hope you can join me tomorrow. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah,